Hey friends, welcome back to Deep Dark Yoga. I'm April Fox and you're in for some slow heavy doom metal and some real gentle easy stretching. Big in the hips today. Grab a pillow or a blanket or something to sit on. That will be really helpful later. Make sure you check out info below about all the socials and the Patreon you can follow to find even more videos. And while you're down there, you should just like and subscribe because that'd be really cool. Glad you're here. Would you like to take this elsewhere? Hi, good to see y'all. I was really excited when Sab mentioned doing this project over the weekend. And just as like a small little note, I think sometimes it's hard to practice being present and being in acceptance with what is when what's going on is in the world and maybe in our immediate circumstances is not what we would want it to be. Like, how do I be at peace with distress in the world? And the answer, according to a lot of this practice, is the only thing I control is my own peace. And if I see a lack of peace in the world, then the only thing that I can really do is to contribute to the peace in the world by developing it in myself, by making sure that I'm adjusting my own oxygen mask and choosing that presence and open-heartedness that I want to see out there. So thanks for being a part of this open heart kind of living. Let's do some face brushing. Index finger and thumb together, moving from the center of the forehead outwards. And then going from the sides of your nose out to your temples. From your temples down to your chin, along your jawline. From the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. And then bring your fingertips underneath and behind your ears. You've got little space to massage, to relax any tension, any resistance, lifting up from that point, and then resting your hands down where it's comfortable to you. Taking some deep breaths, allowing yourself to feel at ease, full of love and puppy snuggles, so that you can be just one more piece of love and puppy snuggles in the world. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. Again, like that. For 3 ohms. Our back. So you're going to take the little cushion that you might have been sitting on, or maybe you were sitting on something else, but grab this and you're just going to slide it as you come down just underneath your butt. And so it's a little bit of incline just to lift the hips up. And we're just gonna draw knees into the chest. You might have to wiggle, shimmy things around a little bit. It doesn't need to, you don't need to be stuck exactly where you arrived at, and just take a few rocks side to side. So this is just letting the legs kind of drop a little bit more into the chest. We're gonna get pretty deep into the hips today. Give yourself 2 more breaths like this. And then keep holding on to the right leg. You're going to extend the left leg out and it might not get straight. Opening up those legs. It might feel a little bit awkward. We're almost done with the cushion for now. Let out one more exhale. And then collect the left leg, send the right leg out. Again, it doesn't have to get straight. One more nice and long, deep inhale. Deep exhale. And then go ahead and collect both legs in. You'll set the feet down and then lift your hips up. Move the cushion out of the way. We'll grab it again towards the end of practice. And then step your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Let your arms open and just slowly taking a little pause on each side. Let the knees drop in both directions. Just some gentle flushing out of the hips. At least one more time on each side. And then when you're ready, we'll meet back in the center. Don't worry if you need a little extra room to catch up. We'll hold on to the right leg again, this time extending the left leg. And first of all, move your right foot around. Move the toe and the ankle bones. And then relax the foot. Try to relax both feet, both legs. Just gently pulling that right thigh into your heart. Well, more into your shoulder, I guess. One more exhale. And then you're going to take the left hand, you're going to bring the knee across the body, roll as far to the left hip as you like. Come into a twist. Excuse you. Open the right arm to the right. One more exhale. And then come back to the center. Squirrel, come here, buddy. And switch sides. Take your right leg out long, bring the left leg in. Start with some movement around the left foot and the toes, the ankle bones. And then release the foot. Relax the legs. Let that left knee drop into you. One more breath out. And then take your knee over to the right. We're going to roll to the right hip as much as you like. The left arm goes out, taking a twist, and give yourself 3 more deep, long breaths, just like that. After that exhale, roll back to your back, bring both knees into your chest. We're going to end up rolling over. You can rock up and swing around or roll yourself over, whatever seems good to you. We'll come to a child's pose. Crawl the hands out, sink your hips back, rest your forehead. Sometimes it feels nice to shift a little bit side to side. Let out another exhale. start to lift yourself up. You're gonna leave the knees on the ground, curl the toes underneath, and you're just gonna scooch the knees back a little bit. Some of us it'll go back a lot, some of us it won't. And then you're gonna sit back into that child's pose again. So if you need to keep arms closer to you, because this is a very strange thing for your feet, that's all good. Just let your head drop down. If you want to crawl the arms up further, it's a little more intense. Ooh, my toes are not curling under today. Just one more exhale. And start to lift yourself up. Go ahead and untuck your toes. Give a little drum roll. And let that go. And then you're going to take the right foot and you're going to step it forward outside of your right hand. So I've got my foot outside of my arms. It's a little bit wider. I'm going to start to walk the hands forward and keep the legs really steady. So it might just be just in front of the toes. Maybe it's a little further out. Give yourself 3 more deep breaths, getting deep into this hip. At the end of that next exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back in so they come back underneath your shoulders. We're going to turn the right knee and toe out a little bit and then take the right arm up. I like to bend my elbow a little bit when I do this. I feel like it helps the heart to open a little more. I feel more stretch in front of my shoulder. One more exhale. And then take the hands down. We're going to pull the right leg back. We're going to switch sides. Take the left foot forward outside the left hand, which might have some scooching involved. And then leave the legs pretty steady. Walk your hands forward a little bit. See how that feels. If you've got more room and you'd like to keep walking the hands forward, just make sure the legs stay steady and your breath stays soft. Check in with the parts that might be a little tense. The hips might be tense and you can't do a lot about that, but you can probably relax your eyebrows about it. One more exhale. Go ahead and walk your hands back in. We're going to turn the knee and toe out to the side. So I rotate that leg and then take the left arm up into a twist. I'm going to let my elbow bend a little bit so I can send the shoulder back. This is not the very specific shape twist. This is a let it feel good twist. One more exhale. And then go ahead and take your hand back down. Go ahead and slide the left leg back. And then we're going to come down to laying on the belly. We'll be propped up on the elbows. Just a gentle back bend, but kind of an active one. So push down into your forearms so you're lifted up and move slowly over one shoulder with your gaze and then over the other. And slightly moving around the neck, keeping the shoulders fairly steady. When you're ready, let the head rest forward. Drop the chin down to your chest. Keep your shoulders peeled back. One more exhale. And then go ahead and drop all the way down onto your belly. So let the elbows go wide. Make a pillow for your head with your hands. Rest your forehead or your cheek on your hands. Wiggle your hips a little side to side. Bring the hands in by the shoulders. We're going to press up, curl the toes under. This time, lift the knees, come up to downward facing dog. We're going to meet in a forward fold when you wanna. You can meet us there now or stay here for a little while longer. Bend the knees and walk through the heels. Let out at least one more nice full breath wherever you're at. We'll walk the feet to the hands to the feet. And make sure your feet are a little bit wider, maybe a little bit wider than 2 fist width distance. You might have blocks around. You can always put blocks underneath your hands or hold your shins. We're gonna bend into the left leg and take the right arm up. Maybe you bend the elbow a little bit and you let it be that twist that kind of feels good around the heart. One more exhale. And then switch sides. So the right leg is now bent more than the left, and the left arm lifts, and maybe kind of play with the bend in the elbow until you find the spot that feels good. Letting it out. Relaxing back to a fold. Relax your knees. Slowly stand yourself all the way up. Lift the arms. And bring your hands down into your heart. Good. If you need water, grab water. I do. It's still crazy hot here. Okay. So we're going to come into old favorite, old softball guy pose. So I've got knees and toes turned out. I'm going to press my hands open at my inner thighs. So it's a little bit of support from my arms, but I'm pressing the legs open, not down into the knees. One more exhale. And then come on up. Bring the heels a little wider so the toes are forward, and then come down into a fold. Move around a little bit, maybe wiggle at the neck, maybe sway or twist or whatever sounds good. Give yourself 2 more exhales. Gently start to stand yourself back up. And then just one short, hard flow. A little stimulating just to get the hips really warm. We're going to come down into that goddess squat. So different than old softball guy. I've got to hold my arms up and work hard here. And then you're going to turn to one side, come up on your back toes, take a lunge, take a big breath in. And then you're going to tap dance the feet as much as you need. Come back to the goddess squat. And then turn to the other side. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale. Tap dance the feet however much you need. Come to the goddess spot. And inhale, lunge to the first side. And exhale, goddess squat to the center. And then inhale, lunge to the other side. Don't be afraid of moving your feet around to find the right space. Come down into the center. We're going to do one more each side. I want to get those thighs nice and warm. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back to the center. Inhale, lift up. And then back to the center, let out an exhale. And stand up. And then bring your feet in. We're going to take the right foot forward, the left foot back, find warrior one. And then put a little bend into the elbows, the shoulders soften. Nice and slow. Let the arms drift back. And then you decide, do I want to hold my hips? Do I want to hold opposite elbows? Do I want to interlace the fingers behind my back? Experiment for a moment until you decide, and then check out that the knee isn't dropping in, that your hip doesn't swing to the right. We're going to go forward to humble warrior. Work on keeping the front leg as steady as you can. One more exhale. Go ahead and lift yourself up, release the arms, and step your left foot forward. Find the front of your mat, wiggle out whatever you need to wiggle out. And then just looking down at your feet, they're about hip width apart. We're going to put hands on thighs and sit back into a chair that is more like sitting in a chair. Chair pose is nothing like sitting in a chair. That stuff's hard. One more exhale. And then come up and step your right foot back. Sorry. Right foot back, left foot forward. Warrior one. Your front leg's real steady. It's getting real familiar with what I wanted to stay with. I'm going to bend the elbows. Soften the shoulders. Slowly take the hands all the way back, and you decide, do I want to hold my hips, my elbows, my wrists, or interlace the fingers? Once you decide, open the chest. Keep that front leg real steady. That's the first priority here. Strong, steady leg. We're getting into that hip. Well, it's the priority 1.5. Priority 1 is breath. One more exhale. Go ahead and lift yourself up. Release the hands. Come and step forward. And then your feet, you probably have them like, like a normal hip width apart. We're going to go a little bit wider than hip width apart and sit back into that I'm sitting in a comfortable chair place. And if you can, see if you can drop a little bit lower. So it's a little bit more work. Dropping back through the seat. One more exhale. And then go ahead and stand up. We're going to take the legs even wider, so really, really wide again. Turn your toes over to the right. Bend the right leg. Warrior 2. And then you're going to reach out, 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 out through that leg, keeping the knee really steady. And then I'm going to elbow down, the other arm reaches over. Try to keep the hips underneath. Just 2 more breaths. Lift yourself back up. Switch the legs the other way. Bend into the left leg, open the arms. And then keep that front leg real steady as you reach, 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 reach. And then bring the elbow down to your knee. This arm stretches up and over. Work to keep the hips underneath you. One more exhale. And then stand yourself up, bring your feet in underneath you. We're going to take tree pose as a balance. So take one of your feet, lift it up. Think of opening that knee. But you can even take a hand and kind of press it open just to start you off. Lift your under butt. Bring your hands somewhere it feels good to you. Hands at heart is good, up is good. Continuing to press that leg open is good. And then let it go. Shake yourself out. Coming to the other side. So what I want to do is I want to open that knee so my hips come forward and I'm a little more stacked there. Like back here, I'm not stacked, I'm not that strong. So open a little bit more and then arms go somewhere. Still breathing even when we're balancing. Let it go. And then take your feet, again, a little bit wider than your hips. So we're going to come into a squat. What you might do is you might drop your elbows down on your knees and come this low. If you're feeling good about coming lower, I invite you to. You might have to do, again, don't be afraid of tap dancing. Don't be afraid of wiggling the feet around. Think of your hips getting real heavy. Let's shoot for 2 more breaths. You can sit down whenever you need. When you're ready, we take a seat. You can take the legs and extend them out in front of you. Actually, real quick, let's lay all the way down. Ooh, stretch the front of my hips, just wiggle a little bit side to side. And then knees into the chest. We're gonna rock up to a seat. And then we'll pull the right leg in close. If you want to cross it over, you're welcome to do that. We're going to hug the right elbow with the left knee, lift up through a nice tall spine, and twist over towards the right. Softening with your exhales. One more breath out. Release the twist and move to the other side. Left knee pulling in, you leave it there or you cross it over. It's up to you. No right or wrong. Lifting up every time you breathe in. Try to find something to soften when you breathe out. One more exhale. And then release your twist. We're going to unwind the legs if they were wrapped up. Bring the feet together. The knees out wide. Take a couple circles rocking around from hip to hip. Go in the other direction. And when you feel adequately and evenly stirred, go ahead and soften the heart forward. Relax the head down. More exhale. And then you're going to take yourself out of the fold and we're going to come down onto our backs and do roughly the same thing. So your feet don't have to be exactly together. You'll just hold at your ankles. If you can hold your toes together, you could do that. You don't have to do that. Just find something you can grab onto. The heels will probably be way closer to your hips. Maybe. You might rock a little side to side. And then we're going to separate the feet. So feet are wide, knees are dropping towards the armpits. You can hold behind the legs or at your ankles, or maybe kiss fingers around your big toes if that feels good. Letting your hips be heavy. More exhale. And then letting your feet release, go ahead and drop the feet down onto the floor. Take your right ankle onto your left knee. We're going to reach between the legs and hold on to the left thigh. If your neck is feeling tender, if you feel like your chin is jutting up, then just grab the back cushion and like stick it behind your head. Just a nice thing to do for yourself today and forever, whenever you want to. One more exhale. And then you're going to release the left foot down, but keep the right ankle at the left knee. We're just going to tilt this all the way over until we hit the altar. Where the right foot comes to the floor. Tilting the legs over to the left. I like hands on my belly here because this is a lot. It just kind of invites some softness. One more exhale. I'm going to drop my legs over there. You're going to be unhappy. And come back to the center. We'll unwind the legs, left ankle to the right knee, and then draw those legs in closer. Hips are heavy. Breaths are long. More exhale. And you're going to let the right foot come to the ground. Leave the left ankle at the right knee and drop it all over towards the right. Maybe you like to open your arms, but I like to just leave my hands in close here. Pick and choose my battles of stimulation in the body. One more breath out. Go ahead and draw the legs back to the center. Bring knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seat. So we're going to lean back. Just bring your hands back behind you. Take your right ankle onto your left knee. And this time, instead, we're going to draw the heart up towards the shin. And the closer your hands and your left foot are to your hips, the more intense this will be. So if you need more space, go ahead and back it up. If you've got more space and you want it to be spicier, you draw it in closer. One more exhale. And then go ahead and lean back. We're going to switch sides. Right foot down, left ankle on the right knee. No matter how close your hands and your foot are to your hips, the work is then to lift the heart up. That's where we're going to feel a lot of depth inside that left hip. And then with your exhale, go ahead and let the legs go. And we're going to take again the feet close together and the knees out wide. And try to soften your body forward. It might feel a little bit different than when we first went into that. One more exhale. And when you're going to lift up, you're going to grab that cushion that you had and you're going to sit. I always try to sit like, I call it like sitting halfway on it. So like I could sit all the way on this, but if I'm doing that, I can really easily like slip back, which is what I want to stop from happening. I want to sit kind of to the front of it. So I'm only like halfway on. And then we'll come to that same place. I'm going to go ahead and drop forward. And even if it doesn't like look significantly different and you don't get to a very different place, it might feel pretty different. One more exhale. Go ahead and lift yourself up. We're going to take the legs, so pretend I didn't move. I'm just going to take the legs out really wide. So I've got that little, it's kind of tilting my pelvis forward a little bit. Take hands back, roll the shoulders back, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Walk the hands a little closer to your hips. If that feels good, you might decide to bring your hands forward. You might walk yourself forward a lot. Just moving into a place that feels like I can breathe through this. I have sensation. It's not sensation I'm mad about or frustrated with myself about, because of course I'm here to be peaceful and shit. More breath out. Go ahead and come back in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to cross the legs. And what I would suggest is try to cross your legs and then switch it, because we're going to do both crosses of the legs, but now you're going to start with the weird way, so then we end strong. So that's my idea there. So I'm going to go for cross legs. I'm going to take a little side bend just to one side. My hand drops down. Just going to use it for a little support. More exhale. And switch to the other side. Go ahead and lift up. And bring your hands onto your legs. Somewhere that feels comfortable to you. Lay your chin up to your chest. See how that feels. Feels pretty good. You might bring your hands down in front of you. You might walk your hands out a little bit further. Maybe you bring your elbows onto your legs. Maybe your elbows come down onto the ground, or you're like, man, I'm so close, and you go grab another cushion or some blocks or something. You can stick those underneath. One more exhale. Start to walk yourself back up, and we're going to switch the cross of your legs. So now you're in like the normal side, whatever normal is, and just take a side bend. It doesn't matter which side you do. Try to drop the opposite hip down a little more though. More exhale. Move to the other side. Try to drop that opposite hip down, or that lifted hip. One more exhale. Come on up and bring your hands onto your legs and relax. And if you find that you're like leaning back a lot, because sometimes that happens, then your work is to be stacked and relaxed there. And if that feels pretty relaxed, maybe you bring yourself forward. And if that feels like that's tense, then your work is to relax. And if you're able to move forward to any specific point, all of a sudden you feel tension, the work is to be at peace with that. Maybe to back off a little bit, find some peace, and then maybe you take that deeper. One more breath out. Go ahead and start to sit yourself up. We're going to unfold the legs back to really wide legs. And then hopefully this feels like okay to sit up with. If your legs are too wide, just close them in a little bit more, a comfortable wide. And the idea is I've just got like little stands to sit up with. And we're going to take the arms up and then cross one elbow on top of the other. You might wrap hands up or hold the backs of your shoulders. I also kind of like this hand separate thing because I can push my elbows together that way. It's a little more intense than this. Pushing the elbows down and forward. Maybe you can feel that lift right behind your ears. One more exhale. And then go ahead and swish the cross of your arms. So the other one goes on top. You've got feathers wrapped. You've got feathers separated. You've got feathers holding on to you. Elbows down, heart up. Letting out that exhale. We're going to take the hands, we're going to reach them back behind ourselves and just hold as close to your elbows as you can, holding wrists, forearms, anything that you can grab hold of. I've got really long arms, so just hold whatever you've got. We're going to lift heart up, elbows down, just a little stretch at the fronts of the shoulders, the fronts of the arms. Maybe taking a moment to relax the throat, the jaw muscles, feeling some softness in the front of the heart. And just like the arms were crossed one particular way in front of you, they're crossed one particular way in back of you. So switch the cross, just like you had to switch the cross of your legs. Oh, that feels so awkward. Okay. Elbows down, heart up. Let's just do 2 breaths. You let out that exhale, go ahead and release your arms. We're going to come down onto our backs. You got this cushion around, go ahead and move it somewhere where it won't be in your way. Lay yourself down. Separate your hands and feet a little wider than your hips. And you want to leave both hips and shoulders as much on the floor as possible. We're just going to move the right leg over to the left, maybe the ankle cross.
crosses, and then we're going to move the right arm to the left. You got to move your head a little bit, but try not to roll over onto your left side. So however far it goes for you to feel like you're stretching and not going to fall apart on the right side of your body, that is as far as you need to go. Let out, one more exhale. Open your arms and your legs and find that a little bit wider than your hip space. We'll go to the other side. The left leg over to the right, left arm and your head over to the right. Give a little gentle pull on the left arm. Just softly. One more exhale. Coming on out of it, go ahead and slide the feet in closer by your hips. Bring your arms down by your sides. Not a lot of back bending today. In fact, we did a lot more folding forward. So the body might not feel like it's open for a really big bridge pose. Don't worry about how high it gets. Let's push down into the feet. Lift the hips up. Maybe there's a little room to wiggle the shoulders in more. You might explore that. Let's stay here for another long, long, long breath in. All the way through the breath out. And let your hips relax down onto the mat. Wiggle your feet a little wider than your hips. Let the knees fall against each other and take a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. Sensing within yourself all of the love, joy, and care you wish to see in the world around you. And having the courage to show up with that every day. Whatever you got in the tank, to show it out. Start to wiggle the feet a little closer together. Let the arms open up to a degree that feels comfortable to you. Let your knees roll over to the right. Nice easy twist. One more exhale. And then bringing your knees back up and rolling them over to the other side. Nice and gentle. One more breath out. Then coming back to the center. We'll start to set ourselves up in Shavasana. If you need a moment, if you need to wiggle or adjust anything, please do so. We'll start to settle in for just a few minutes of rest before we wrap up together. fingers and your toes. And take some deeper breaths. Gently coming back to your body. Go ahead and roll yourself over to one side. Offering a moment of gratitude for this practice, this opportunity to gather together. And then coming up when you're ready and finding your own comfortable seat. The sound of Om is said to be the sound that the universe makes, the sound that the universe vibrates at. And when we release that Om, we are honoring our connection to all beings everywhere. Let's take a deep breath in for Om. Bowing down to the love, to the light and the darkness that resides within each of us. Thank you so much.